So once again, people, this is my Telegram channel. Any doubts or queries that you have, please send it over here. Moving on to our next topic. After completing Prime Minister's office, PMO in recent years. So far from our discussions, what is our understanding? So far from our understanding, if you really look at it, your Prime Minister's office, you have Cabinet Secretariat. Now, Cabinet Secretariat is more often integrating, coordinating body, providing secretarial assistance to, again, the cabinet. Coming to the Prime Minister's office, it can be top down if PM is strong and provides assistance to Prime Minister. This is our understanding so far. And depending upon whether it is a single party, means PMO can become very, very strong. If it is a coalition, means the Cabinet Secretariat can become very strong. So let us see PMO in the recent years, that is under Narendra Modi, how has the PMO been performing so far? DOPT, Department of Personnel and Training, which comes directly under the PMO, issued an order to all ministries and government departments to conduct quarterly review of all officials. This is seen as a move to undermine the power clout of Babus. Now, I already told you, one of the biggest problems with the bureaucratic system or Max Weber की model की सबसे बड़ी problem क्या है? There is no way to evaluate performance. So the PMO has given what order now? All ministries and government departments to conduct quarterly review of all officials. This is seen as a move to undermine the power clout of Babus. Babus means IAS officers. Modi runs the most powerful centralized PMO in decades. His government has reshuffled the bureaucracy 3 times in the 18 months after coming into power in 2014, fired the foreign and home secretaries, and shifted out a second home secretary. Ministers can no longer pick and choose their bureaucrats. Like I told you earlier, पहले क्या होते थे? If I wanted to become work under the Ministry of Finance, I will go and butter the minister, or I'll go and butter the concerned political leaders, the party, etc. Maybe even bribe them, and that is how I will get a plump posting in Ministry of Finance. Because the idea is very clear. Every IAS officer, if you ultimately ask, once they end up becoming career bureaucrats, everybody will realize that you have to be near Delhi to get to know about the major administrative decisions that are and political decisions that are happening in the country. तो दिल्ली के पास जाने के लिए what do? They'll go meet the ministers, pay them bribe, etc. हमें ये posting दे दो, वो posting दे दो, etc. करके. Now that is no more possible. That task is done by the PMO. For the first time in recent years, officers from across central government services are being inducted to posts that were earlier exclusively reserved for IAS. 89 non-IAS officers out of the 269 joint secretary level posts at the center are believed to be the highest ever. Good afternoon, Suganya. Good afternoon, Alam. मतलब क्या है? Earlier, only senior IAS officers were posted in the top posts. Always. That is, if you get anything other than IAS, it was always believed that gaya khatam. Maximum become till DGP, maximum till become till income tax commissioner or excise commissioner, and you will retire. But those days are gone. Here now what has happened is 89 non-IAS officers have been now inducted into what? Joint Secretary level postings. Indian Revenue Service Officer Aniruddha Kumar was appointed Joint Secretary, Power. Indian Forest Service Officer Amitabh Gautam was named Joint Secretary, Agriculture. Darshana Momaya Dabral, Officer of Indian Posts and Telecommunication, Accounts and Finance Service, is now Joint Secretary and Finance Advisor, Ministry of Human Resource Development. As you can clearly see here, nowadays career options for other services are also high. So even if you get into a central government group A job, not your IAS, IPS, IFS, IRS, but the below services, if you get into, still you can end up becoming a secretary or a joint secretary. It is very much possible now. Getting the idea? By making it, pulling it away from the clout of IAS, what has the PMO did? PMO has literally made the, the availability of officers from which I can choose, the availability of services from where I can choose the people, that has got increased. Or in other words, we can basically say this is also in a way a sort of participative management. Now every service gets the opportunity to participate in governance. Clear? Close to 400 senior officers deemed incompetent or corrupt have been sacked or superannuated in the last few years. The government, armed with Rule 48 of pension rules, has the powers to prematurely retire senior officers. That means if somebody is found to be medically unfit or somebody is going on taking leave after leave, then government is retiring them. And what is the number? That is the interesting thing here. 400 senior officers. One home secretary was asked to go home because of sexual misconduct. Home secretary, senior IAS officer. However, the fact that earlier PMOs did not use this rule effectively shows the present PMO means business. On March 17, 2021, 3 IPS officers of UP cadre were retired prematurely as they were found to be unsuitable to continue working as a public servant. In 2019, 50 IRS officers were compulsorily retired over corruption and sexual harassment charges. Interestingly, these type of data and details, they don't come in the front page. Because this will put the government in good books, correct? People will actually feel, yes, good, government is taking action. This hardly comes, maybe it will come in some corner. Until and unless you search for this data exclusively, you are never going to see this. Getting the point here? Moving on. In 2019, 284 officers from Central Secretariat Services were considered for compulsory retirement. In 2017, 24 IAS officers were considered for premature retirement for non-performance. Between 2014 and 2019, sanction for prosecution was granted against 23 IAS and 4 IPS officers under the Prevention of Corruption Act 1988. This is the point here. These many examples, you need not note down. What is easy for you to remember, you only remember that. Clear? Moving on. A Cambridge study found that constant nudging by the Prime Minister helped in keeping people in their homes during COVID-19 pandemic. The PMO was at the forefront of the fight against coronavirus. Constant nudging. Nudging means to pinch. So constantly nudging means constantly telling people, stay inside, let us bring this down, together let us do this one, do this, bring this down, etc. There were many comedy also in between, like banging on the plate and people thinking that by banging on the plate, corona will go away. Go, corona, go. Corona, go, corona, go. All those songs also you would have heard. But what is the bottom line here? The bottom line here is that because Prime Minister kept on coming in front of the media or through the social media, he kept on telling people that do this, don't go out, etc. It had a huge impact on the psyche of the Indian society. And a Cambridge study found that it has helped in a great way to reduce the effect of the pandemic because 140 plus crore population, such a small region, India, size-wise as a country, when you talk about corona casualties should have actually skyrocketed. We were able to manage it within 1% of the population. That is a huge achievement. Going forward, the PMO spearheaded the creation of Prime Minister's Citizen Assistance and Relief in Emergency Situations Fund. The PMO created COVID-19 Economic Response Task Force to deal with the economic challenges caused by the pandemic. The PMO also asked the business community and higher income groups to look after the economic needs of those from lower income groups and urged them to not to cut their salary on the days they are unable to render services due to inability to come to the workplace. That means Prime Minister PMO used informal methods to ensure orders or requests fall within zone of indifference or zone of acceptance. Clear, people? Officials of the Prime Minister's office were hands-on in the Silkyara tunnel rescue mission, some working tirelessly at ground zero. Officials said that PMO's intervention was crucial for mobilization of experts and equipments from major PSUs, including RVNL, ONGC, SJVNL, THDC, and DRDO, as well as application of relevant technologies and devices such as drones, robots, and endoscopic cameras. Like I told you, normally to get two government departments to cooperate and work with each other in our country is a nightmare. So here basically what has happened is 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. 5 PSUs or 4 PSUs and a department organization under Ministry of Defense, all the 5 worked together. Complete cooperation, etc. Because who was coordinating the entire operation? Prime Minister's office. PMO is currently reviewing the trade talks with the United Kingdom. PMO since 2014 has been a catalytic agent in all areas of governance. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has set up a monitoring group. Again, we have already seen this. Under the chairmanship of Union Minister of Agriculture, Farmers Welfare and Rural Development, Shivraj Singh Chauhan, to review implementation of schemes announced by the Prime Minister and in the Union budget, subordinate legislation and other infrastructure projects. With his involvement in both day-to-day administration and global affairs, it is believed that the PM has been concerned about the time lag in the implementation of government schemes and has often made his apprehensions known in closed-door meetings with his secretaries and PMO officials. We have tried to develop the PM as a catalytic agent, which becomes a source of new energy and inspiration, the Prime Minister said. The PM Narendra Modi has reiterated that he wants the PMO to be known as People's PMO. Very rarely only you are going to find news with regard to Prime Minister's office, mind you. Otherwise also, if you want to find out, exclusively you have to put it in Google search bar, Prime Minister's office. Otherwise, follow my current affair videos of public administration, which will come every month. So February months, there's a slight delay because of my accident. So I will be putting it up a little late, but definitely I'll be putting it up. Clear, people? So taking it further forward, let us look at some PYQs here. Dominant centralized administration is correlated with decisive and authoritative leadership provided by the Prime Minister's office. Explain with suitable examples since independence. So, straight away from the material what I have already given you. That is, you will write everything that is there from the time period of Nehru to Modi. Not that you write everything, strong, you write about everything here, that is strong and weak PMs. All right. Give suitable examples, mention about the coalition politics, etc. and write it. In between, you also mention about the theory X, theory Y, zone of indifference, zone of acceptance. Those things you can throw it in here. Clear, people? Moving on. Strong PMO is antithesis to the feature of collective responsibility of the Council of Ministers. Examine the issues in relation to the position of PMO vis-a-vis Council of Ministers in the light of this statement. Just a minute, people. Yeah. Position of PMO vis-a-vis Council of Ministers. PMO is antithesis to the feature of collective responsibility. Again, this is come in 2019. So strong PMO goes against collective responsibility, because strong PMO means what? Only Prime Minister will be taking all the decisions. No consultation with the Council of Ministers. Sometimes it is good, sometimes it is bad. Bad example goes without saying. We can definitely say how Nehru did not listen to his Council of Ministers with regard to the threat from China, which ultimately culminated in the 1962 China War. We can talk about Indira Gandhi, which eventually led to what? Which eventually led to the emergency time period. Clear. And how later various, measures were kept to ensure that future Council of Ministers, Prime Minister is accountable for. So later onwards, we did have strong Prime Ministers, say for example, Narasimha Rao, who ushered in LPG. We can talk about Vajpayee. Definitely we are missing out on another giant, LBS, Lal Bahadur Shastri, 1965. The same Indira Gandhi again, who took us through victory in the 1971 war. Vajpayee, Kargil war. Then Modi, who not only took strong decisions, but took very rare decisions also. Demonetization, Article 370 abrogation, surgical strikes. All these you can give as example. Clear, people? Again, the same set of theories only. Theory X, theory Y, immaturity theory, zone of indifference, zone of acceptance, using informal channels of communication. Examples for that, all that you can give you. Any doubts, people? Any queries? Central Secretariat. Central Secretariat, when we say, it is just like our State Secretariat. Let us say from Ministry of Finance to Ministry of Defense. Various ministries are there. And connecting and providing assistance to all of this. Secretarial assistance to the ministers. You have the Central Secretariat. That is the point here. Taking it further forward, it is totality of all the ministries and departments at the central level. Ministries and departments are politically headed by the ministers and administratively by the secretaries. Article 77 talks about portfolio system and authorizes the president to make rules for more convenient business of the union government. The ministries or departments enumerated in allocations of business rules 1961 are collectively known as Central Secretariat. Secretariat in India was referred to the office of Governor General in British India. At the end of the 18th century, central government consisted of a Governor General, 3 councillors, and Secretariat of 4 departments. In 1919, Government of India consisted of a Governor General and 7 members, and there were 9 secretarial departments. So, you can clearly see, to assist the Governor General, Secretariat was there. Initially, the Secretariat was of 4 departments. Then you had 9 secretarial departments. Then, since then, it kept on increasing in size and functions. Organization structure. The Central Secretariat is a collection of various ministries and departments. That is, once you walk into the Central Secretariat also, that is for under SSC, when you write the exam, it is one of the top posts to work under the Central Secretariat service. You will find all the ministries there, all the departments there. At the central level, you will find it in this one place. Ministry is responsible for the formulation of the policy of the government within its sphere of responsibility, as well as for the execution and review of that policy. A ministry, for the purposes of internal organization, is divided into the following subgroups with an officer in charge of each of them. There is a secretary. To assist the secretary, you have an additional secretary. Below that, you have special secretary. Then you have joint or additional secretary. Then the deputy secretary, under secretary. Finally, the section officer. All these posts from under secretary upwards till secretary, generally these are IAS officers. Generally. These days we cannot say no, because these days it can be anybody. Clear? Role of Central Secretariat. The Secretariat role is that of staff agency. It is a think tank and treasure house of information. So this is also what? Staff. It carries out detailed, in-depth and comprehensive examination and verifications of issues before the ministerial decisions. Secretariat assists the ministers in the formulation of government policies. Like I told you, once you reach at this stage of your career, that is when you can truly say that now you are responsible for making policies. Till then, until and unless you reach here, you are nowhere going to make any policies, at least at the central level. State level, yes, I agree, still possible. But at the central level, if you want to make policies, this is the place where you need to be. Clear? Ministers finalize policies based on adequate data, precedents, and other relevant information provided by the Secretariat. It enables the government to examine its present activities, emerging problems, and future policies. That is simple, to tell your minister the analysis of each and everything. If this decision, 3 fumbles we are taking up, what are the pros, what are the cons? If we are going to come out with the electoral bond scheme, what are the risks involved, what are the benefits involved? Everything the IAS officers will be knowing, or the secretaries will be knowing, and they will give the right advice. In fact, many IAS officers will also be able to tell that, if you ask them actually, that we knew it will not stand in the judiciary. We knew that judiciary will strike it down. They will be expecting the judiciary to do that. Getting the picture here? So this is the reason, because your job requires you to be so aware of everything, link everything, give the pros and give the cons, give the analysis of every policy. That is also the reason why mains is so important in UPSC exam, because that is the job that you are going to do after you enter the service. The Secretariat plays an important role in fulfilling the legislative responsibility of the minister. It carries out detailed scrutiny of a problem, bringing an overall comprehensive viewpoint on it, getting approval if required. Secretariat also ensures that field officers execute with efficiency and economy the policies and decisions of the government. Field officers means ground level officers. At the bottom level, sitting in Delhi, you need to keep a check on how the policies are being implemented at the state level or at the local level. Functions of Central Secretariat. Assisting the minister in discharge of his policy making and parliamentary functions, framing legislation, rules and principles of procedure, sectoral planning and program formulation, budgeting and control of expenditure in respect of activities of the ministry, department, securing administrative and financial approval for the operational program and their subsequent modifications, supervision and control over the execution of policies and programs by the executive departments or semi-autonomous field ones. Again, all of this are only for your information. Please keep it in mind. Don't sit to by heart it and all. Just understand this, that there is a bunch of secretaries kept at a single place to assist the ministry. In what? In almost everything. That is, sometimes politically also, they can end up depending on their secretaries to ask, is this the right political move? Prime Minister is dependent on Prime Minister's office for getting even political advice. Same thing here also. So, ministers are free to use the advices of these secretaries, additional secretaries, etc. to any extent possible. It is at the discretion, it is left to the discretion of the minister. Clear? Calculating steps to develop greater personal and organizational competence within the ministry or department and its executive agencies, assisting in increasing coordination at the central level. ARC comment on Central Secretariat. The Secretariat system of work has lent balance, consistency and continuity to the administration and serves as a nucleus for the total machinery of a ministry. It has facilitated inter-ministry coordination and accountability to Parliament at the ministerial level. As an institutionalized system, it is indispensable for the proper functioning of the government. Simply means Central Secretariat is irreplaceable. Clear, people? Moving on. Central Secretariat as a nodal agency. It is the nodal agency for administering the union subjects and establishing coordination among the various activities. No doubt about it. It cannot be for state subjects. It is strictly for union. Central Secretariat is the nerve system of the central government. It is the think tank and the treasurer of the information. Treasurer of information. Whatever information anybody needs, that is available here. Clear, people? It is through this body that the union government operates, making and modifying policies from time to time, drafting bills, rules and regulations, exercising supervision and control over the execution of policies and programs by field agencies and evaluating their performance. That is basically, they look after everything of the union government. Through this body that the union government operates, make and modify the policies. That means constantly take feedback from the system and do system theory. Keep a check on the field agencies means we are also talking about management by objective, Peter Drucker. The Secretariat is called a nodal agency, a think tank, because it supplies vital information with regard to policies and activities in the light of precedents. It provides ready reference for a detailed scrutiny of the issues after consulting the ministries of law and finance. It serves as a nucleus for the total machinery of a ministry and facilitates inter-ministry coordination. The functioning of the Secretariat in India is based on two principles: split system, tenure system. This we will see. There is a separation of policy making and policy implementation. Secretariat should focus only on policy making rather than indulging in policy execution. L.S. Amary, in his book Thoughts on the Constitution, pointed out the importance of a separate policy making institution. In the situation of dual functioning, policy making functions are likely to suffer most. Routine business is always more urgent and calls for less intellectual efforts than the policy making functions. For effective planning, a separate policy department should be there, he insisted. Means what? Split system clearly tells one thing: keep policy making separate, execution separate. Whoever is executing these policies, that is, whoever is, let us say, implementing Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana at the ground level, let us say the district collector, let them do their job. Let the secretaries do the policy. What should be Fasal Bima Yojana? What should be the insurance rates under it? Let the secretaries decide that. Keep it separate. Don't ask the central secretariat to go and implement it. Keep it too. What is the advantage here? Free from day-to-day administration, the secretariat prepare plans and aggregate to the national interest, needs and requirements. It examines the policy objectively as the proposals coming from the executive agencies are examined in the larger point of view of the government as a whole. Secretary in the secretariat is a secretary not to his minister but to the government on the whole. Means what? Point here is, now if I am working with central secretariat, my only focus is policy making. I don't have to know what are the routine things that is happening in the central secretariat, nothing. My only point is now I have to frame an insurance policy for the central government. I need not worry about what is the politics happening there, what is this happening there, nothing. That is why that last sentence, when I say secretary to the Ministry of Finance, means Ministry of Finance is a government ministry. I am secretary to the ministry, not to the individual minister. Taking it further forward, it provides the operational freedom to the executive agencies. Again, because I am managing only the policy making. So let us say Alam is responsible for executing Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana, maybe in UP. So he is having his freedom. I am not interfering in his work. He is not interfering with mine. It enables to keep the size and volume of the secretariat manageable due to division of work. Examination of policy implementation can be done in an objective way. Easily you can check it to what extent it has been implemented, what are the challenges here, all that can be understood. Now, coming to tenure system. Officers from states and from central services for a specific period works in the central secretariat. It is known as tenure system. Another word for this is actually deputation. One of the biggest controversy these days is, now let us say you got posting anywhere in India. For 5 years, you can go for deputation. And work for what? The union government. At the end of 5 years, you're supposed to return back to your cadre. Getting the point here? You're supposed to return back to your cadre. So, in such a scenario, you got posting where? Central Secretariat. You are dealing with ministers, all good stuff. No local MLA, no altu faltu log coming and talking with you. You are only doing things for the government at the highest level. Once people reach that level, let us say you got deputation and you went there, nobody will ever come back. It is almost like going abroad. That is, people who go abroad will never come back. Just like that, majority of the officers, once they go for deputation and work in Delhi or in the central secretariat, 99% of them will never come back. One or the other reason, somehow they will try to create and try to extend their stay there. Because they don't want to come back to the state government. Getting the point here? Under this system, every official so deputed has to work in the secretariat for a specified period, and after completion, they return to their respective cadre. Getting the point here? So it is almost like, मैं नहीं जाऊंगा, मुझे नहीं जाना, मैं छोड़ के नहीं जाऊंगा. That sort of a scenario. Because in Delhi, you are getting your posting, your wife is happy, your kids are also going to the best schools, you end up meeting celebrities, sports personnel, all of that. That is literally you're rubbing your shoulder with the who's who of Indian political, entertainment, sports industries, even foreign dignitaries. In your home, you end up hosting parties for ministers, for celebrities, all of that. Once you are in that whole, smoke screen, in all that glory, in all that pomp, luxury, etc., you will never ever desire even to come back to the state cadre. Clear, people? Moving on. The tenure system was introduced in India by Lord Curzon, who believed that India may be governed from Shimla or Calcutta, but it is administered from the plains. Llewellyn Smith Committee, Simon Commission, Wheeler Committee, Maxwell Committee, and Rowlands Committee all favored the tenure system. The ARC 1 also favored the tenure system. The tenure for different officials in the Secretariat. Secretary and Joint Secretary, it is 5 years. Deputy Secretary, 4 years. Under Secretary, 3 years. Advantages. Strengthens the federal polity as it enhances the coordination between the center and the states. That is the first and the most important thing. As an IAS officer, now Alam is called to work as an under secretary. 3 years. What happens? He is bringing his experience from the state over there. Minister is there at the central level. There are other officers at the central level. But the fact of the matter is, compared to all of them, Alam's experience will be the freshest memory. Other officers who are there, they are talking about their experience when they were collectors 10-15 years ago. But Alam's experience will be what? The most recent. So the minister also will be like, okay, this is the current ground reality. Fine. I will, oh, here, Alam. So I will do this. Okay, this way we will do this. This is the reason why ministers also like to interact with civil servants. Because pinpoint latest data, latest what is happening at the ground level, the best source of information is IAS officers. Facilitates the appointments of the officers in Central Secretariat who have first-hand experience of the field administration. It provides the state officers to build national perspective. So let us say now Suganya also, let us say, now once Suganya goes from her district there, she is bringing her experience, but at the same time, now she is able to appreciate the fact that why does it take so much of time for a policy to be made, for a policy to be implemented? What are the legal hoops through which the government has to go through before a policy is actually formulated? What are the challenges involved here? She gets the national vision now. So both stand to gain. The ministers stand to gain from the experience of the young officers. The young officers get a clear glimpse into what it is to make what it means to make policy for the whole country. It clubs the field knowledge and needs with the policy perspective, which makes policy implementation more realistic. Provides equal opportunity to all the officials who wants to work in the Secretariat. It brings freshness among the officers by providing different atmosphere to work. Provides a required flexibility in the personnel management of the Secretariat by enabling it to remove the incompetent and inefficient officers easily. Very quickly they can remove. It was always said, especially while working for Chidambaram or P. Chidambaram, Manmohan Singh, Pranab Mukherjee, you cannot bluff. When you're talking with them, if you don't have the facts, admit that you don't have the latest data. If you try to bluff your way, आलतू फालतू के कुछ कहानी आपने बना दिया, they will tear you down. बर्बाद कर देंगे. You'll almost feel as if you are naked. नंगा करवा देंगे. Like that, they will make you feel ashamed. It is not at all easy when you work with a very intelligent or very experienced politician, because they may not know the definitions, etc. But their political knowledge and their memory power will be very sharp. It enables all the officers to enjoy special benefits of Secretariat posting, thereby improving the morale and motivation of the officers. That means a Central Secretariat posting is nothing less than satisfying your self-esteem needs and self-actualization needs, growth needs. Clear? Criticism. As the functions of ministries and departments are becoming more and more complex, tenure system is not helping this. Office-dominated administration over bureaucratization of the Secretariat. One issue I will tell you with the tenure system. Can't we do anything against them if they insult us? Nothing. Nothing at all. See, let me tell you one thing very clearly. It is only in the movies where you can shout at your senior. I'm telling you. Now, I have done that once to my senior, but that was a totally different ground. That day it was because My senior, when I say by rank, not by age, he was younger to me again by age, but by rank, he was my senior. So he shouted at my reporting officer, who was a very senior lady, old enough to be his mother. Shouted and he was banging on the table. Where this poor lady, I mean, she's 50, almost close to 60 years. She got scared and she was sitting in a chair and looking at that one image where she is sitting there scared, looking at this big hadde katte fellow. Obviously, anybody's blood will boil. So I pulled her chair behind and I stood there in front. I was like, what? You come and talk to me. What is your problem? Again, it went till the highest level. We were both of us were taken to the commissioner's office. We were asked questions, what happened, etc., etc. Because obviously it was a shouting match. I raised my voice, he raised his voice. All of that had happened. So then they warned us. Both of us, we were warned that this cannot be repeated. My super senior told me, he said, see, I understand in what ground you behaved like that. I understand. Your intention may have been good, but the method what you used was unprofessional. This is the exact word he used. In movies only you will see that. And this was an exceptional case again. 99% of the time when your superior calls you and tells you, leave that case, come back to the office immediately, all you can say is, yes, sir. That's it. Keep it in mind. Clear? Coming forward, talking about the criticism here, one of the major problem with this is the tenure system is, now Alam came, he learned 3 years. Next, Suganya comes, serves 3 years, gone. Continuity to get it will be very difficult. And again, it will work like a typical office only, because from joint secretary, under secretary, additional secretary, special secretary, secretary, minister, look at the bureaucratic hurdle, over bureaucratization. And for every work, you'll keep asking, where is the order? Where is the order? Order mila nahi hai mujhe, I'm not going to do. Because people are scared, because the minister can literally question you, kiske कहने पर तूने ये काम किया है? If you don't have an answer, don't worry, they will ask you, go back. They cannot fire you, not that you will lose your job. They will basically tell you, बेटा एक काम कर, तू चल, तू अपना कैडर में ही चल, तू वहां पर ही बैठ. That also can happen. Understand this very clearly. Getting the point here. Getting into civil service does not mean that uske baad the life will be a bed full of roses and sunshine. No. After that also you will face insults. After that also you will feel many a time, yaar, kyun le liya maine ye job? There will be days. There will be good days. There will be bad days. The quicker you understand that all of this is part of professional life and you learn to accept it, you will sail through it smoothly. Otherwise, you will also become one among the many officers who will put in their resignation. Clear? Specialization is not met in the secretariat as it is manned basically by the generalist. There is no specialization here, right? If whoever is working under Ministry of Finance also agreed, these days you are having people from IRS, people from Audit and Account Service, you are having it. I am not denying it at all. But the fact of the matter is, generally if you see from the highest level secretary to just above the section officer, secretary से लेकर, let us say under secretary तक everybody are what? IAS officer. No specialist is there. Domain expert, not at all there. Then what policy are you going to make? How can you say your policy is innovative, this idea is a great idea? How are you going to tell it? There is no way of telling it. Clear? Any doubts so far, people? So the interrelated topics from paper 1, when I say, what I am trying to tell here is, you have seen that one chapter where they are talking about organizations, boards, commissions, departments. So these are nothing but definitions what we need to remember. यहां से सवाल आएगा तो भी maximum you may get a static definition wala question you may get, or they may straight away ask you about regulatory bodies, any one regulatory body that is constantly in news. ये पेपर वन का टॉपिक है, लेकिन पेपर वन में ही दे मे आस्क यू अ क्वेश्चन रिगार्डिंग लेट अस से नेशनल ह्यूमन राइट्स कमीशन और आरबीआई, or they can ask about election commission of India, they can ask about SEBI, any question they can ask. So this is where you must be in touch with current affairs becomes important, because we cannot literally sit and study all the regulatory bodies. Imagine SEBI, RBI, NHRC, let us say Niti Aayog, Finance Commission. Where do we put an end? Election Commission of India. Getting the point here. Literally, you cannot sit and study all these bodies, their jobs, their duties, their roles, their responsibilities. So what do? You keep in touch with the current affairs. In current affairs, constantly is any body appearing. That one you pick and learn. Clear? So this is very, very, very dry subject what we are going to see now. Mostly it will be like you will feel, okay, these are all definitions. Simple and easy to understand. I've kept it as simple as possible. Read it. Understand it. All right. Organization refers to a plan of action to ensure fulfillment of purpose or purposes which a group of individuals has set for realization and towards the attainment of which they are collectively bending their energies. We are living in the age of the organization man, a man who accepts organization goals as the value premises of his decision. For many persons, organization represents a major part of their environment, tending to make their behavior organization. Like agencies in modern government are of three types, not like line. Departments, public corporations, and independent regulatory commissions. "10 pages per day or 15 pages per day, that is the only thing to do." So, what is an organization? Group of individuals working together for one common purpose. That is an organization. Staff agencies we saw. Staff agencies, whatever we have seen so far, they were to provide assistance, to provide advice, to provide information. We saw Cabinet Secretariat, and Central Secretariat, and also Prime Minister's office. After this, what we have is line agencies. Line agencies, when we say, these are your executive bodies, the bodies that will actually go and execute, get the work done. In that matter, if you see, you have departments, public corporations, and IRCs, independent regulatory commissions. Let us see what a department is. Department is the fundamental unit of administration on which rests the obligation of carrying on governmental operations. Authority to organize the departments may be vested in the constitution, the parliament, or the executive. That means when we generally talk about any department can be created either by the constitution, or it can be created by the preamble, or not preamble, parliament, or by the executive. Case in point being GST department, created by the parliament after the GST Act was passed. In India, the formation and dissolution of ministries and departments is an executive function. Means either to form it or to dissolve it. Generally in India, if you see, because departments comes under ministries. So if the ministry gets dissolved, department can get dissolved. Similarly, minister, if he wants, he can dissolve a department, merge two departments. Clear? Moving on. Departments are necessary for organizational performance and effectiveness. It helps in the process of determination of the size, composition, skills, and capabilities of the personnel required and for manpower planning and control. That means what is required to get the work done. Talk about technology, talk about infrastructure, talk about the number of people that are required. All of these things are specified or looked into by the department. According to Willoughby, governmental operations may be organized in accordance with two principles: independent or uncorrelated system, and then departmental system. Independent or uncorrelated system is characterized by the treatment of each service or agency as an independent unit not related to other services, and the line of authority running directly from it to the chief executive or the legislature. Completely independent office, not linked to anything. That is one way of looking at it. A completely independent, not at all linked to anything at all. No way it is related to politics, nothing. Line of authority runs directly from it to the chief executive or the legislature, that is either to the government or to the parliament. Maybe we can talk about Niti Aayog here. Correct. It is not linked to the politics. Definitely linked to the Prime Minister's office. Niti Aayog, under PMO, Niti Aayog comes. Correct. Then, departmental system. Related activities operating in the same general field are grouped together into departments maintaining close relations with each other, and here the line of authority runs from the service to the department and from the department to the chief executive. I'll give you very examples here that will help you to understand it better. So, Central Board of Direct Taxes deals with income tax. Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs deals with GST and excise. And both of this comes under whom? That comes under Ministry of Finance. Runs from the service to the department. Service means income tax, again service, or the GST service you talk about, it runs to the department, and from the department to the chief executive. That is the point. GST is the service given, correct? Goods and service tax, collecting the service, imposing it, etc. from the people. So that job is directly connected to the CBIC. CBIC gets its orders from Ministry of Finance. All right. What happened to Sir's hand? Met with an accident, dislocated my shoulder, and there's a small fracture here. So it will take a lot of time because it's shoulder. It will at least take 3 months for complete recovery, or else I stand to risk dislocating it again. It is now agreed that the departmental system is far superior than any other system. Departments are necessary on account of the following reasons: specialization, feeling of autonomy, fixation of responsibility, appraisal of ministerial performance, administrative control. Specialization. Central Board of Investigation, or why we are talking about Central Board? Let us talk about DRI, which is there in news recently, Directorate of Revenue Intelligence, which made the arrest of a Kannada actress who was caught smuggling gold, 14 kilo gold from Dubai. DRI arrested her. Getting the point here. Feeling of autonomy. What is available for our enforcement directorate? Completely independent. Fixation of responsibility. If ED, be it ED, be it DRI, when they make any arrest, when they do anything, they are responsible for it. They cannot say that, no, we don't know, I don't know. That you cannot tell there. Appraisal of ministerial performance. How the minister is, etc. Thank you, Dhrutilada. How the minister takes all these things, what is the minister's feedback, all that you will get over there. Finally, administrative control. It is very easy to control the department. Clear, people? Merits of departmental organization. It facilitates integration of governmental activities and is therefore a very simplified structure. It facilitates formulation and implementation of the work program. Chief executive has to deal with a lesser number of subordinates. Integration of governmental activities means, like I told you, CBDT and CBIC. This group is sharing income tax details with CBIC, CBIC is sharing GST and excise data with CBDT. Because of the sharing that has started between these two departments, collections have started increasing. Income tax, you call it, GST, you call it, it has started increasing. Facilitates formulation and implementation of the work program. Chief executive has to deal with a lesser number of subordinates. True, because in the case of CBDT or CBIC, they will directly contact whom? Commissioner IT, that is income tax, who will be definitely be an IRS officer. Chief executive has better control over administration. Conflicts with regard to jurisdiction, overlapping of functions, and duplication of organization, plant, and activities can be avoided. To a large extent, it is true. There is not much of conflict, not much. That is generally, it will be very, very less. In the uncorrelated system, each agency will have to maintain its complete organization and installation, unlike a department. That means, Niti Aayog, if you talk about, they have to maintain their own structure. They have to maintain their own guidelines, own principles, because there is no similar department like it. CBDT and CBIC, if you see, one is for income tax, the other one is for GST, but ultimately what it is, collecting tax. So the structure, work environment, etc. will be largely the same. An uncorrelated department means they will be completely like standing out, standalone. Like Niti Aayog, the way the work happens in Niti Aayog, don't expect that situation in any other organization in the country. So I have a friend who works in Niti Aayog. All right. So she has told me, so their basic purpose there is to keep doing research. Do ground level research, submit the data to Niti Aayog, based on which Niti Aayog. So Niti Aayog is a think tank, right? They should have, to think innovative ideas, they should have what? First, they should do a study, should do a research. Based on that research data, what has been collected, they will suggest policies to the government. So my friend is in charge for Northeast region. So she has visited there multiple times. She keeps going from Delhi to Northeast and back. Once she goes there, she does the study, everything. She submits her report to her senior, which is mostly a joint secretary. Getting the point. Now, I told you all this. Don't think that, wow, job with Niti Aayog, etc., etc. Salary is just around 35 to 40,000, and that too in a city like Delhi. Getting the point here. She is from a well-to-do family, so she can survive in that salary. Plus, the fact that when you work for Niti Aayog, anybody asks, where do you work? I work in Niti Aayog. The prestige that the post carries. So that is there. Clear. Grouping of similarly related services departmentally brings about economy and efficiency in the performance of institutional activities. Grouping things together is always better. It will improve the efficiency, improve the economy. Departmentally related, rather than keeping it as standalone. Taking it further forward, demerits of departmental organization. It can complicate things and make coordination an issue. So, coordination an issue when we talk about, we have generally seen this within the state departments as well as central departments also. That is road, then BSNL, state public works department. Road, let us say it is NH. That means National Highway Authority of India. BSNL, obviously it comes under BSNL to connect internet, etc. Then you have state public works department who is responsible for sanitation. In our country, if there is one thing which will happen always is, the moment any road is nicely tarred and well maintained, 1 week they'll come and dig it up again, either to lay down pipe, telecom line. If after that they will put retarring again. Again they will come and dig it up, telling that we need to lay down sewage line. So coordination issues are always there. It demands time and attention from the head exclusively, which may not be possible at all times. True, whoever is heading these departments, they will have headache. That is, whoever is heading ED, whoever is heading NIA, whoever is heading GST or income tax, they will always be on their toes. Why? From executive will keep getting calls from the Ministry of Finance directly. It can cause delay in work. Departments therefore should be unifunctional even if it is difficult to achieve, as it is conducive to departmental unity. Means what? Entrust only one job to the department. You have created one department only for one purpose it should be. Now don't give them multiple tasks. Clear? Taking it further forward. Basis of departmental organization, it is the 4P. Purpose, process, people, person. Place. So, 4 P's of Luther Gulick. We have already seen this. Let us quickly revise this. Purpose means what? You are creating something for a specific purpose based on its function, like Ministry of Railways, Education, Transport, etc. Process. There is a blurred line between process and purpose. It is concerned with skill of a specialized type, like for example, law ministry. Person or clientele, these departments are mostly created to give justice to the principle of social equity, like Department of Tribal Welfare, to handle the problems of a region that are peculiar to itself, like Department of Jammu, Kashmir and Ladakh. Now, I know some of you might be telling, sir, process, purpose, did not understand. The fact of the matter here is, we have seen it already under Luther Gulick, that this differentiation, it is very difficult, because simply put, I will tell you, person or clientele means what? Whom are you trying to serve? Correct? People of Jammu and Kashmir. So you have Department of Jammu and Kashmir. Same example you can put here also, right? Place means what? Which place you are going to target? I am going to target tribal people. Where our tribal people are staying? Department of Tribal Welfare. Got the point here? So this is not at all watertight. The same example I can put it over here, same example I can put it over there also. So what does it say? Concerned with skill of a specialized type. Why railways is also a skill, right? Maintaining railways also requires skill. The Ministry of Railways can come here. Similarly, purpose is what? To frame proper laws. Law Ministry can go here. So the 4P definition given by Luther Gulick is not exactly what we call watertight definition, where each one of them is so different. Purpose is different from place, different from process, different from people or clientele. No. They can all be used interchangeably. Clear? In practice, all the 4 bases overlap each other. No single principle can be applied indiscreetly in creating organizations. Different bases of organizations are not exclusive, rather they supplement each other. That is the point what I have been telling. That is, they are not actually different things. They all are mutually supporting each other. Clear? Location of authority in department. All directions flow from the head of the organization. If it is vested in a single individual, then it is called a bureau system. And if it is vested in a plural body, then it is a board or commission system. In India, both systems exist. Say, for example, you're talking about Central Board of Investigation. Central Bureau of Investigation. It is headed by a director, mostly an IPS officer. Correct? In that case, you call it what? You call it a bureau if it is headed by one individual. But if it is headed by multiple people, pluralistic, then you call it a board or a commission. Clear? So, Election Commission of India, Finance Commission, I agree, Finance Commission as a chairman, but there are other members also. Clear? Structure. Again, just for your information only, ministry, political head is minister, assisted by the Minister of State, deputy ministers or parliament secretaries. Parliament secretaries are non-permanent. They will keep changing. Secretariat organization is headed by the secretary. Executive organization, you have departments headed by Director General, Inspector General, etc. Below that, you have the officer class, then the subordinate class. This is how the ministry is organized. Board and commission. Governmental functions are operationalized by the departments manning it. However, along with departments or ministries, certain other types of organizations also exist, namely boards and commissions. Board or commission has become an integral part of administrative institutions. When administrative authority within a department is vested in a plural body, it is called a board or commission system. A board or commission is generally defined as a group of people elected or appointed to discharge public functions collectively. Board or commission can be elected also or appointed also, and to discharge some collective action. Let us see. There would be constitutional commissions, statutory commissions, and commissions set up by executive order. The commissions have some features of the departmental form of organization and some of public corporation. Difference between board and commission. Board is a body of members who act collectively. Commission is a body of members, acts in two ways. Either they will act collectively, or every member can act individually as the head of a distinct branch of an organization. For example, a public service commission. Every member also acts individually as the head of a distinct branch of an organization. For example, PSCs, Public Service Commission. So, what it is? UPSC members are there who can be later appointed as the chairperson of SPSC. Initially was a member, now it is a chairman. Like that. So at one point you can be a member, another point you can be a chairman. Not a hard and fast rule again. Understand, people, these are just meant for your understanding. Board, commission compared with department. Within board or commission, again, difference between board or commission again is board acts collectively, but notice commission also can act collectively. Commission can have multiple branches also. Clear? The term commission is generally used when the body is charged with important regulatory duties relating to public utility enterprises. True, commission system provides the best advice and services at low cost, like ECI, UPSC, SPSC, or even National Human Rights Commission. They are free from political interference and promote active citizens' participation. According to Willoughby, board or commission types is useful if organizations that perform quasi-judicial and quasi-legislative functions like the Railway Board of the Government of India. Passing laws, almost like a court, almost like a legislature. That is a board, like Railway Board of India. Organizations which exercise large discretionary powers to perform their duties, like Public Service Commission. Organizations which need representation from different groups to be able to function objectively, like the Arbitration Board of Industrial Dispute. Situations which are subject to a lot of political pressures and group rivalries. So, I agree. Now, it would be looking slightly confusing to you. Some are being called boards, some are being called commissions. Sir, what is the clear difference between the two? Hardly any difference. Get that thing very clearly. Bureau, you would have understood, headed by one individual, so you call it bureau. Department or commission, board or commission, when we talk about it, is a multiple body. So generally, according to the nature for which we have created it, that will decide whether it is going to be a board, whether it is going to be a commission. That is the ultimate thing. And yes, in India, if you see, generally the word commission comes along with those entities which are generally independent. Generally, they are free from any government interference. Boards, on the other hand, some level of interference can happen. In such cases, various interest groups tend to sway the decisions of the government authorities in their favor through various means. In such situations, board or commission is in a better position to balance the various pulls and pressures. That means boards or commissions' biggest advantages immune to the pressures of informal groups. Clear? Moving on. Classification of board and commission on the basis of nature. Advisory boards or commissions like the Small Scale Industries Board, UGC, and Public Service Commission. Boards or commissions performing policy making functions such as Niti Aayog. Boards or commissions performing policy making and executive functions such as Railway Board and Atomic Energy Commission. Getting the point here? I know, but sir, in Niti Aayog, there is no word board or commission is there. But it is also a pluralistic body. Getting the point here? It is also a pluralistic body. So as we can clearly see, there is no watertight segregation for this. यही board है, इसे board ही कह दो, commission मत बुलाओ इसको. No, there is nothing like that. Clear? All these are just meant for your understanding only, people. Okay, just understand this because we are dealing with union government. That is only reason why I'm taking these topics of paper 1 and discussing it here. So that at least you have some andaza. Okay, ministry ke niche department aayega. Then there is difference between bureau, board or commission. Board or commission are largely one and the same. Highly depends upon for what purpose, place, person, etc. you are creating it. Clear? Classification of boards and commissions on the basis of status. Boards or commissions established by the Constitution. ECI, UPSC, Finance Commission, NSC, NCSC, ST and OBC. Boards or commissions established by some special statutes, that is by law. SEBI, UGC, Central Vigilance Commission, Atomic Energy Commission. Boards or commissions set up by resolutions of the Union Government. All India Handloom Board, Central Social Welfare Board, the Handicrafts Board, Niti Aayog. Classification of boards and commissions on the basis of location, like place. Boards or commissions performing the functions of the ministry and located in the ministry. They perform all the functions of the ministries and also some involved in executive functions. Example, Railway Board. The other one, Atomic Energy Commission. Boards or commissions which work as heads of the departments but outside the ministry. These boards function as important heads of departments under the ministries. Examples are CBDT and CBEC. These boards give directions to the field officers under them and are also responsible for their general performance. Boards or commissions in subordinate positions. These are departmental board. They are concerned with laying down syllabus and courses and conduct of examinations. CBSE and State Educational Board. That's it, people. I know it was rushed it a little, because the only problem is the more if I try to explain, you're only going to get more confused. So just read through that data, because sometimes worst to worst case scenario, what they will do is, see, UPSC is also very chalu. UPSC knows it very well that you will all focus and study on the most important topics, thinkers, this, that, etc. So these areas, what they will do is, generally what UPSC will do is, they will put one 10-mark question from this chapter. Briefly write about different types of organizations, boards, commissions, departments, and give a general overview of their structure. 10 marks that they give. At the minimum, you should note to write below the ministry, you get a department. And a department, if it is headed by multiple people, then you call it board or commission. Or if it is handled by a single person, then you call it bureau. Give examples of that. What are the challenges? What are the merits? This much you should be able to write. That is the only purpose of that material. In the event you get a direct question, you should be able to write it. So just read through it. That's all that you have to do. Don't break your head too much. Have a general idea. That is, if something gets asked here for 10 or 15 months, what can I do? That's it. To fill 3 pages, I need to develop content. That is the only thing. Whatever content I have given is more than 3 pages. Understood? So pick and choose a few items from it. Try to remember it. Remember it through a few examples. That will be the best thing to do. Finished. Clear, people? So that's pretty much about it. So with that, we come to an end of our class today. So tomorrow you won't be having a class. Okay. Tomorrow, Friday, you won't be having it. Saturday and Sunday, 99% will be having a class. I will let you know. I'll share the details with the batch manager. All right then.